Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
What's going on, folks? Welcome into the Fairways of Life show. Absolute delight to have your company. We have a huge show for you today for a couple different reasons. One is because it does what we love to do and have been doing for almost 20 years, and that is focusing our attention on players that you may not know that well yet, but we suspect you're going to get to know very, very well very, very soon. That kicks off in just a little bit. But first, this is the week of the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and every year at this time, we love to feature this exclusive interview that we were fortunate enough to have with Mr. Palmer. It wasn't long before he passed, and we believe it was the last long-form interview that he conducted. If it wasn't the last, it was one of. And in it, he shares with us some incredible history, some of it that will just blow you away because of what he's saying, and some of it is because of who he is talking about. Like he spoke about his complicated relationship that he had with Ben Hogan, just as an example. And the most moving part for me was the very last part where Mr. Palmer defines, in his words, his legacy to the game of golf. Champion, architect, ambassador, mentor, role model, icon, legend, the king. There's a lot of names that describe Arnold Palmer. His accomplishments, however, probably describe it most emphatically. 5th all-time on tour in wins. A 4-time Masters champion in 1958, 1960, 1962, and 1964. The U.S. Open champion in 1960. Winner of the Open Championship in 1961 and 1962. In 1974, he went into the World Golf Hall of Fame. Overall, he has more than 90 professional victories. Leading money winner 4 times. PGA Player of the Year 2 times. Varden Trophy winner 4 times. The Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year in 1960. The Bob Jones Award recipient in 1971. Old Tom Morris Award in 1983. The PGA Tour Lifetime Achievement Award in 1988. The Payne Stewart Award in 2000. The Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2004. The Congressional Gold Medal in 2009. Arnold Palmer played on 6 Ryder Cup teams, last playing captain, in fact, for the United States, and was captain again in 1975. Mr. Palmer, it's nice to have your company, sir.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm starting to get back to normal. I feel fine. Thank you.
The shoulder, you dislocated it in December, correct?
Yes.
What happened?
I fell. I was on my way to speak at the Father-Son and slipped on a carpet and did a 360 and landed on my shoulder.
Oh.
And it's been a long, hard battle to try to get it better.
Yeah, the healing has to take some time. Did you know right away the severity of the injury? Could you tell when you went down?
Well, I knew it wasn't good when I hit the floor, and it scared me. I gotta say that. And I've been working hard to get it back. I feel like I'm about ready to go, but it'll be a couple of days yet.
Is it a foregone conclusion that the thing you miss the most is the ability to swing a golf club right now?
Well, you know, I always fiddle with clubs, and I hit the swing all the time, and I haven't been able to do that since the accident.
When will they let you start to putt, or at least chip a little bit?
Well, I hit some shots, various shots on the range, wedges and that sort of thing. But that's about as far as I've gone. And my therapist says another day or 2 will not hurt, just hold off.
I have to tell you, Mr. Palmer, that in January of this year, my oldest son, he blew his ACL out playing soccer, and he was operated on at the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital. And in as much as, you know, having a child go through any type of surgery is a disconcerting experience, the experience at the hospital that bears your name was as pleasant as it possibly could be. And I wonder When you list all those when you hear all those accomplishments that you have to your credit in your life, where does that hospital place for you personally?
Well, it's right at the top of the list. It's the hospital, what they do for the kids and ladies is wonderful. The doctors, the aides, the workers that are given their time to take care of the hospital, it's pretty fantastic.
I have to say, respectfully, at 85 years young, even with the injury and the healing, you look good, you look vibrant, you still have that spark in your eye. Are you enjoying your work still? Does it still motivate you every day?
Oh yes, I still work every day, and I still get a kick out of it. And sometimes I get tired and want to go to sleep, and do. But that's the difference. And I miss playing golf. That's something that I never done in my life, not played.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting back to hitting the ball.
To this point of your work, during the Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard, you discussed with the assembled media that you're building a golf course in Scotland, and it's your first one in Scotland. Could you talk to us about that project?
Well, it's one that I'm looking forward to. It is a new project for me. It's just north of St. Andrews, and it's one that we're going to really put a lot of time into, and hopefully make it a really great golf course.
One of the stories that I just heard recently was, and I guess it was prompted by, Rory had a club throw in Doral. And someone told a story about when you were a kid, you were in a junior tournament, I believe, right? And you threw a club. Could you tell us that story and what happened?
Well, I was playing in a junior tournament. I was 16, and I was playing pretty good. And I was playing the mayor of Pittsburgh's son, Waddell, and I missed a short putt on the 17th hole, and I turned and let the putter fly, and over a row of trees, and my father was there, and as it turned out, I holed the putt on the last hole to win the match, and I got in the car to go home with my family, and it was dead silent. There was not a sound, and I expected something at least nice going or something. The next thing I heard was the chewing out, and if you ever do that again, you'll never play golf as long as you live in my house. And that was my father talking, and he was very serious.
Did you ever throw a club again?
Well, maybe a little pitch, but not real bad. That taught me a lesson.
When you think about your dad and the lessons that he taught you over the years, could you boil it down to one philosophy or one piece of advice?
Well, I learned everything I know from my father, and I can't ever thank him enough for what he did for me in my youth.
I've heard you speak about your dad in saying that he concentrated on the fundamentals of the game from grip onward. Could you comment on that perspective from your dad?
Well, he was a fundamental man. He was very basic. He taught me the grip, the stance, the position, and all the things that I learned about the game of golf. He taught me. And I can't, as I said, I can't thank him enough, because it was something that I still use every day of my life. And I'm very grateful for what he did.
When he put your hands on the club, that grip, that famous grip, what did he say to you?
He said, "Now, don't you ever change that, boy." And I knew he meant it. And I haven't. I still hold the club much the way that he put my hands on the club.
That strength in fundamentals, that giving you the belief that you can do it the way that you see it. I think back to the story
1954, U.S. Amateur. Wilson Golf sends Gene Sarazen out to scout you, and he came back and said he lunges at the ball, he plays a hook. I don't see it developing into much. We just recounted what you developed into. Was that part of the motivation, the competitive makeup of Arnold Palmer, to, at least initially, to prove to the world that you can do this?
Well, that's one of the other things that my father taught me in my learning stages of the game of golf. He gave me the basic fundamentals, and he taught me not to talk too much about what I could do, show people, and he drove that home with me. He said, and it's something that I remember very, very well. Show them, don't talk about it.
When you have quiet times to reflect, to sit in front of a fireplace perhaps and just relax, where does your mind go? What are the times that you look back on and reflect?
Well, of course, I usually remember the good times we had, the golfing days, the things that I did with my father and mother, and they are all things that are very pleasant, things that I love, whether it's skiing down the hill or ice skating or playing golf. They were all things that were very pleasant, and today I enjoy remembering them.
When you go back to Augusta National, one of the things I've been dying to ask you about is the Champions Dinner. Can you remember your first Champions Dinner?
Oh yes, and of course I remember most of the people that were there, and there wasn't a large crowd. It was very limited, and it was wonderful. Sarazen was there for sure, and Bob Jones was one of my favorites, and he was there, and it was nice to talk to him, to talk to these people, because it was my first dinner, and to hear them and listen to them tell stories about how some of the other golfers played, and guys like Claude Harmon, and guys that were really known for what they did and how they played was fun.
Was there anyone over those years and since, was there anyone that you in particular wanted to sit next to at this Champions Dinner because you knew it would be entertaining?
Well, no, but I enjoyed Kerry Middlecoff, and Byron Nelson was one of my very favorites of all time. I think that he might have been the best that I ever had the opportunity to know and to talk to, and he talked to me about things that he has done and he did, and those are things that I'll never forget.
That is impressive. What was Bob Jones like to be around?
Bob Jones was a great guy. He was one that talked and didn't mind talking. I remember he watched me make a putt on one of the holes during a match, and it was about an 8-footer, and when I finished, he came over to me and he said, "Arn," he says, "let me tell you something." He says, "if I ever have a putt for my life, I'm going to come and get you to putt it for me."
That just sent a chill through me.
Isn't it fun? Yeah, it's fun.
I want to, if I may, I want to ask you about some historic figures in the game and your recollection and reaction to them. Walter Hagen.
Walter Hagen was also a very close friend, and I corresponded with him. He was the first man that I talked to after I won the Open, and he called me on the phone and congratulated me, and what a thrill that was. And then I got to know him. I've met with him a number of times, and he said, "Now, Arnie," there's a couple things he said that were very pointed. He said, "when I die," he says, "I want you to remember that I asked you to be a pallbearer for me." And, you know, things like that were, and he was sick at the time. And of course, he thrilled me to death with the things that he told me, and And as a matter of fact, I was a pallbearer in the Walter Hagen funeral.
Wow. Dow Finsterwald.
One of my best friends ever. Dow and I have been close since we played, amateur golf and then professional golf, and we traveled together all over the world. And he was a very close personal friend that I'm very proud to say we've been friends all our lives.
Sam Snead.
Sam Snead is a guy that you never get real close to Sam, but he and I were buddies because we played on a lot of teams together. And he was a guy that he never forgot anything. And of course I remember that. And he was a good guy. He was a good guy. He didn't waste words too much. He said what he had on his mind and got on with it.
I've talked to you in the past about your relationship with Ben Hogan, and in my reflection on it, I would describe it as complicated. Is that fair?
Well, I suppose that's fair. Hogan and I wouldn't ever call the relationship really close, although we were partners and we talked a lot, but we were never real close buddies. Mm-hmm. Hogan never called me by my name. It was always "Hey you" or "Fella" or something like that, which I objected to a little bit.
How about Gary Player?
Gary and I are very close. We were close all our lives. We played Big Three golf, and we did a lot of things together, a lot of shows, a lot of golf, and something that I think that will last forever.
Of course, I have to ask you about Jack Nicklaus.
Well, Jack is a good friend. He is a personal friend, and he's a guy that I can appreciate and understand very well and enjoy being with.
There were a couple players that golf lost in recent months that I wanted to ask you about. One that both that you're directly tethered to. The first, Cal Nagel, who passed away, of course, which takes us back to the 1960 Open Championship. And I wonder if you could speak to that man for a second.
Well, Cal was the guy that kept me from winning the Open at St. Andrews, and he played very well, and I knew him pretty well, and he was a really nice man. He's one of the nicest men that I have had an association with in the game of golf. And I enjoyed our relationship, the fact that we spent time together and competed against each other many, many times. And he was a guy that I will always remember.
Mr. Billy Casper, of course, passed away recently.
Well, Bill Casper was a good friend also, even though we didn't spend a lot of time together. We played competitively all of our active life. And Bill was a much better player than anybody gave him credit for being. He played the game very well and was a good guy. He was a good guy and a good friend to me.
When you look at the game today, and you've described it to me in the past that players today are very physical, it was the word that you used with me. If you could, through some stroke of magic, if you could have lived and competed in a different time than that which you did, would you take that option? Would you be competing at a different time?
Would I like to be competing at a different time? I'm not sure. I think I had the opportunity to play in the best time of my life. The golfers were good. The Hogans, the Sneeds, the Sarzens, the Nelson, Middlecoffs, they were great players, and it was a thrill for me to have played against all of them.
What is the next mountain to climb for Arnold Palmer?
Well, I'd like to see golf continue on the road that it's on. I hear people say golf is falling. I don't think it is. I think it's just pausing right now for a little get back to it again. And I think that we will see these young people that are coming along will make a great difference in the game of golf in the years to come.
Are you impressed with the young players today?
I am very impressed by some of them. Yes, they're very good.
If there was one thing in today's game, in the golf game today, you could change, what would that one thing be?
I suppose that I'd leave the game alone. I'd try to speed it up a little bit. I think that would be something that we could use very much in the game now to get these young people to play a little quicker. And for the rest of it, I think it's very good.
Years and years from now, Mr. Palmer, what do you want the legacy of Arnold Palmer to be?
Well, I suppose just that I have made a contribution to the game to help make it a little better.
You have that, sir. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Truly, truly incredible stuff from one of the greats of all time. When we come back on the Fairways of Life show, we are going to introduce you to a fresh face, maybe not a new face in the game of golf, but one that is definitely finding his path and starting to make a lot of noise.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Super easy to hit. Introducing the new PXG Black Ops irons, our first game improvement iron.
It's a larger face heel to toe.
It launches the ball high in the air and really far.
Much higher levels of forgiveness. You set that club down, creates a lot of confidence. It's supported by this X-Core column material.
And that's where you get improved ball speed. If you're looking for distance, forgiveness, and feel, Black Ops irons are going to be for you.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Michael Kim has been on an absolute tear on the PGA Tour. The lineage of Michael Kim, for those of you who may not be familiar or feel like you're just getting to know him, is most impressive indeed. He's a member of that blockbuster 2011 high school class that included Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas and Daniel Berger and Emiliano Grillo and Patrick Rogers, Ollie Snyder-Jans, Denny McCarthy, amongst. He went to the University of California. He was teammates there with Max Homa. He won the 2013 Haskins Award and the Nicklaus Award. He was a member of the 2013 Palmer and Walker Cup teams, both of which the United States won. At the 2013 U.S. Open, he finished tied for 17th as an amateur. He turned professional in 2013, not too long after, respectively. He won the John Deere Classic. And he's joining us right now. Michael, thank you very much, first of all, for joining us. It is great to have your company, and we really appreciate you taking the time. When you decided to make the transition from amateur golf, where you had such success, what were your early expectations, if you will, of being a professional? Did you, and you tell me if this is the correct terminology or if you'd even use this, but did you expect that amongst the professional ranks it would come as easy to you as it did as an amateur?
Definitely didn't think it was going to be very easy. When I turned pro, I did Q school as an AM and turned pro right after. And, I wasn't playing as well as I had been that 2013 year, but through Q school, I felt like I had decent enough status to where, I felt like I really just don't want to go through Q school ever again. And I felt like I had decent enough status. I was, even at that point, I was trying to get back to how I was playing in 2013, and luckily through some exemptions and I got some starts early to get my feet wet, and I was able to figure out my game as the weeks went along, and I finished off 2014 pretty well, and I was ready to go 2015 when I got my PGA Tour card through what was then the Web.com Tour.
If Michael Kim now, at 31 years old, could go back and give advice to that fresh-faced Michael Kim that was just starting his pathway as a touring professional, what advice would you give to that young man?
Oh man, do we have an hour? Because I think for one is I think I would try to take fitness way more as a routine. I was pretty good doing it in the off season. I struggled a lot trying to keep up with it in season, especially on that web.com Corn Ferry Tour season. You play 10, 11 weeks in a row sometimes, and it can get pretty difficult to maintain that. I would probably try and start speed training earlier, and probably pick up a couple books along the way that has helped me with my PGA Tour journey, and just get ready and get mentally prepared for a roller coaster ride.
I have so much stuff that I want to run through with you, Michael. I will touch on this tidbit because you brought up the prospect of distance. You're averaging this year 305 yards off the tee, right? Formidable. That is 87th on the PGA Tour right now, which is absolutely remarkable. So I guess the question there would be, how has distance and your relative place within it changed since you came out on tour?
Yeah, I may be 87th, but when I first got on tour, I was way back in the line. I was probably, I don't know the exact stats, but I was probably like 120, 130th. I was for sure below average. And, through that fitness and speed training that I was talking about, I'm able to, say I'm right at average or just above average. And it's a huge part of the game. I'm a big basketball fan, and I kind of equate it to how the the 3-point shot has changed basketball. And it's been a very similar concept where you really, if you want to survive on tour, you need to hit a certain distance, or you have to the other parts of your game has to be just really, really special. And it's just the distance is just a huge part of the PGA Tour now.
Yeah, that's to your point, Michael. In 2014, your statistical average for distance off the tee was 270 yards. So full credit that you have added a tremendous amount as you've gone along. Now, to Michael's comments about strength in other parts of the game, when we come back, we're going to go to a video from his coach, Joe Mayo, where they're working on wedges. And this is going to be one of those rare opportunities where we get to hear from a top tour player explaining to us what they're working on and the results therein. This is an individual who is very giving of himself, especially in those social media platforms. We're going to go down that road too to learn more about the why behind all that and how he is willing to give as much of himself through that forum and more as we continue in the Fairways of Life show right after this.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The best feeling iron I've ever hit. Introducing the new Gen 7 irons, the greatest leap forward in irons technology, in performance, in PXG history. Our new quantum core material explodes off the face. Are you kidding me? The Gen 7 irons deliver groundbreaking new levels of forgiveness, speed, distance, and feel. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that trajectory. Just phenomenal. Gen 7. It doesn't get any better.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
What's been the magic? What have you changed that's flipped the switch so definitively with the way that you're playing right now?
Like many times, it's a lot of different things kind of coming together at once. Last year, I had a bit of an up and down season where, if my driver was really good, my chipping and putting maybe wasn't, and if my chipping and putting was good, my driver and iron game weren't as good. This year, I've been able to kind of put it all together at the same tournament, especially at the Waste Management. Um, working with Joe on that Tuesday was really helpful, getting my chipping figured out. And, I felt like I've been driving it pretty good over the start of the season, just hadn't really shown up as much. But yeah, at Waste Management, it all showed up, and I was able to have a great week. And when you have a great start to the year like I did, I think it just frees you up even more. And I was able to kind of keep going at the Genesis and also at the Mexico Open.
Yeah, it's incredible. Take a look at this chart that we put together, Michael, that illustrates your performance from just before you turn professional to when you turn professional. And you can see that there were the years from 2018, 2019, revenue 17,258, then 132,000, then 183,000. Then it jumps up into multiple millions of dollars. My question is, as a professional, how do you keep your head in it? How do you keep your heart in it when you've had the good times and then you've had these fallow years of struggle that you continue to carry on?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I was missing so many cuts. I was just in a really, really dark cave for that 3 or 4 year stretch where I just nothing was kind of going my way. I was trying to make changes, and when those changes didn't work, I was trying to make other changes, and just kind of going through the Rolodex a little bit. And just when I uh, when I thought I couldn't get any deeper, I just kept on digging even more. And what really changed was I finally went to a coach that really helped me get out, and Sean Foley, and I give him a ton of credit. Um, I started seeing him at the end of 2021, I believe, and he's been a huge reason for me to be able to come back and play as well as I've ever have.
When you were in what you've described as a dark cave, Michael, two questions pop into mind. Were you guilty of identifying your self-worth based upon what you were doing on the golf course, and how hard was it to extract yourself from that? If so, and was there a time when you started to think about what if this isn't my path? Did you think about what else you would do?
I think, you know, basically all professional golfers in some degree, we've been playing tournament golf since we were 8 years old, and or even younger for some. And it's it almost become second nature for us to equate our tournament or golf success with our self-worth. When we do well, we get praised, and when we do poorly, we don't get that praise. And it becomes natural for your brain to think that way. And it's definitely something that I feel like when we turn pro, we realize that's just not a healthy relationship. With golf and in our life. So we try to really separate that from our self-worth from the golf, and it's something I feel like all of us work on a daily and weekly basis. Um, and I'm sorry, what was the second
The
part?
second one would be, did you ever let it sneak into your mind that maybe you wouldn't make it out of this dark cave? Maybe you have to keep going through it and find something else. Did you ever entertain what if you weren't meant to be a touring pro?
For sure. Luckily enough, when I won the John Deere in 2018, that bought me enough time. I had status for 2 or 3 more years. COVID actually extended that status for a year. when that decision was made through the tour. And I also had 1 year of Corn Ferry Tour status that I used um, in 21, 22. And if I lost my Corn Ferry Tour status in that 21, 22 season, then I really probably would have really started thinking about what I might do after that, because if it's because I had at least Corn Ferry Tour status, I wanted to keep pushing. I wanted to still use all the opportunity that I had, and then go from there. I've always felt that I had the game and the potential to be on tour and be successful and play with all these other guys. I just was nowhere near that ceiling that I thought I had, and it's taken a lot of work, but I feel like I'm closer than ever to it. But yeah, I've always felt like I had the game. I just couldn't figure out how to get there.
We're going to go one more segment here with Michael because this is awesome and so telling and so insightful. So if you guys have been with us in the past when we're talking with touring professionals, I like to ask them about the reality that they are a brand and what their brand represents. And we will go down the road, as I promised you, about Michael's engagement on the social media side and the hows and whys and the impact that that's had on his life as the Fairways of Life show continues right after these words.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Super easy to hit. Introducing the new PXG Black Ops irons, our first game improvement iron.
It's a larger face heel to toe.
It launches the ball high in the air and really far.
Much higher levels of forgiveness. You set that club down, creates a lot of confidence. It's supported by this X-Core column material.
And that's where you get improved ball speed. If you're looking for distance, forgiveness, and feel, Black Ops iron is going to be for you.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
Michael, you heard me mention before the break that I was going to ask you about who you are, what your brand is, what your image is, what the message of Michael Kim is to the world.
I think it's a lot of perseverance and a lot of um, a positive outlook on things. Through that roller coaster ride, I never really lost too much hope. I always tried to have a good attitude on the golf course. There's even guys on tour that it's easy to highlight every bad break that they get. But I tried really hard not to be one of those guys. And I would hope that my coworkers, when they play with me, kind of see that way as well. And through those bad 3 or 4 year stretch where I was missing almost every cut and really just playing some really bad golf. I was able to persevere, work hard, and find my footing again, and get back to and play even better than I ever was before.
It's awesome. Do you, by the way, have a deal with sunglasses? Is that a sponsor of yours?
No, I don't know how people play without sunglasses. It can be really bright out there, especially in a bunker. I just always have sunglasses with me, and I'm always in awe of people that don't wear sunglasses on the golf course.
Well, dude, we got to get you a sunglasses gig too, because I mean, you wear them all the time. You're one of those that makes them look cool out on the golf course. Speaking about something cool. Your engagement with social media. Hey, I've got a few hours in the airport. Ask me any questions that you want. And you can kind of see this collage that Andrew and Don put together. When did this start? Why did you do it? And has it changed you and your persona at the very least in terms of what it means in social media?
I think it all started when I got back on tour that second time. I played with Max Homa, who's an awesome friend of mine. We went to Cal together, and he obviously is Mr. X or Mr. Twitter, way before I was. Just how much his brand had grown, and just how many people came to actually watch him. Our careers, in a weird way, have gone different directions at all times. When he was playing well, I was playing bad, and when I was playing well, he was playing bad. And so I never saw his brand progressively grow. I just, he's just my friend Max Homa, and when I played with him at the what was then the Safeway Open, um, a ton. His brand had grown so much, and in the back of my mind, I always thought. Um, if I wanted to do something on social media, I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to post the weekly photo of the spot we're at and just say, hey, let's have a good week at so and so. And I decided to do it on X or Twitter instead of Instagram. I actually deleted my Instagram. And through my ups and downs, I felt like I learned a lot about golf, about the golf swing, and I felt like that was a way for me to just start trying to grow the brand a little bit. I didn't know what would happen. No one might like it, but I decided to do for a full year. I decided, other than tournament days, I was just going to post something almost every day, and it's grown a decent bit, even more than I could have thought or wanted. And now I get some shout outs out there on the golf course, which is great. I used to be mistaken for other players more often than get a personal shout out. So it's been awesome to see that people have liked my stuff, and I'll continue to do it for this foreseeable future.
Because you are so honest about all this stuff, like there was one that I saw that you put your travel expenses nearly $100,000 a year with that. Just stuff on the inside that people love to know and wouldn't know. Yeah, to the penny, $92,698.11 for travel. You are now ascending. You're evolving from a journeyman professional to being amongst the elite. So now making that transition as the tour is going to special opportunities, signature events for the best of the best. How do you feel about the direction that the PGA Tour is going? It is now going to benefit you more than it would have only a few months ago. But where's your mind at with that?
It's there's it's I feel like it's a bit of a double-edged sword in a way. There's positives and negatives to it. Um, just a few years back, I wasn't making any cuts. I was, barely hanging on to my PGA Tour status, and now that I'm playing better, it's especially this year, I probably won't have to worry about that nearly as much. But at the same time, um, it's I think anyone in that's been in my spot is kind of thinking like, is it really necessary? Is this really help the tour? Does it help the bottom line with a tour that much? Cutting away opportunities. Um, I'm certainly not smart enough to make all these decisions. But time will tell. But I think many guys on the PGA Tour are pessimistic about the direction that the tour is going, mainly because they feel their job is some of their jobs are might be taken away. But at the same time, the guys that are playing well are making more money than ever before. So on tour, it's if if you're good enough, you will make plenty of money, have plenty of success. Well, I'm of the belief that we'll see what happens, and it's always easy to add jobs in the future if they feel like they overdid the cut. So we'll have to see. Everyone kind of have their everyone has their doubts about it, but we'll see.
Michael, you strike me as a person that has a light that emanates from within them. Right now, with everything that's going on in your life, where would you put your happiness on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the most?
Right now, it's definitely at least an eight or nine. Luckily for me, I had, even when I was playing poorly, I had awesome friends and family that supported me and believed in me way before, way more than even than I thought I could achieve, and they were incredibly supportive, and I tried to keep that in mind, even as poorly as my professional life was how bad that was going. And I found myself incredibly grateful, and of the golf that I'm playing right now, I am even more grateful than I would have when I first got on tour.
It kind of, I would think then, will give us a perfect place to end this, Michael, if you would allow. Your story is inspirational, and you're on a stage that reaches millions of people, and I've no doubt that you've made a lot more fans here today. My question is, can you look into the camera like you were looking into someone's eyes, and they're struggling? They're in the dark cave of their life. What can you say to that individual to continue in their pursuit of their dreams and having the self-belief that they are good enough to do it?
I think, the biggest part is if you have good people around you, if you have people that believe in you and you work at it, life is certainly unfair at times, but the good bounces and the opportunities always show up. And if you have worked hard enough, if you've committed to it, anyone can grab those opportunities and use it as a springboard to get out of the cave that many can find themselves in, like I was. And it's, you know, in a lot of ways, life has life works in many different ways and in many different timings as well. And I'm always of the belief, if you have good people, if you work hard enough, you can find the light at the end of every tunnel. And I have found a much better and happier perspective after all the downturns at the end of it all.
Amazing. Love the perspective, love the inspiration that you provide. I actually think you might have a book in all this, emerging from the dark cave. You can have Sean. Sean's a friend of mine. You can have Shawnee write the intro. I think it might be half the book.
Yeah, he certainly does not need help writing anything down or talking to anyone.
It was great to have you on the show. We wish you the very, very best.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you later on. Folks, thank you so much for your company as well. That's why we do this. That's why we started this show back in 2006, to give you the opportunity to get to know these players, not only as the heroes that you see week in and week out, but also as human beings, and to realize that they suffer from the same things that we all do: hopes and dreams and ambitions, and having to have the belief and having to have the tenacity to get themselves out of their own dark caves, and on the other side, bathing in the bright sun. Until we are together again, folks, be well and goodbye.